Alright gang, how we doing? Welcome back to the channel. Now we have some big news to get into today, including the return of Riddler Khu, who has dropped a brand new ZA hint for us. We also have some slightly more speculative observations to get into, but some observations that could have a massive impact on the future of Pokemon games, and you'll find out why in a second. So yes, let's dive into that before we look at Khu's tweet, and I want you to look at this TCG trailer right here, this Mega Evolution official trailer. It's a sneak peek of the change in the TCG sub-series. So the last 7, 8 or 9 expansions, I don't know exactly how many, but have all come out under Pokemon TCG Scarlet and Violet, and now that is changing to Mega Evolution. But have a look right here. If you just look at where it's set, right? Bearing in mind that historically, there's always been a parallel with the TCG sets that release and the main series games. For example, most of the last few under the Scarlet and Violet sort of era of TCG, they were based on some of the legendaries, terastallizing, different DLC Pokemon, all that kind of thing, right? And right now, we have the pivot to what you would imagine is the TCG set that is kind of around Legends ZA. However, I've looked very closely at this town setting, or this city center setting really, and I don't think this is Kalos. And what I think that could mean for the ZA games, potentially Gen 10, but probably more likely just the ZA games, is that we are not just in Lumio City. We're not just in Kalos. This to me looks like a Unovan or an American certainly city, and I'm very interested to hear what you think. I'm going to show you something on Google in a second specifically about the traffic lights, but I'm just going to let this play for a second, and I'm sure you've already seen it, but this doesn't look to me like Lumio City. This looks very much like a potentially Japanese, but more likely American city, which could signal that we might be going back to Unova or some other city. When it goes to God of War here, it kind of pivots to a more, I suppose, fantasy kind of setting. It doesn't really look like any particular city. It looks more like some sort of garden, or kind of looks a bit Doctor Strangey there with how the buildings morph into the flowers. And again, this very much could just be a generic building setting, but I think Pokemon are more smart and more intentional than that in what they do. And so I think that this is very much a implication as to what setting we might see in the future games, the next game really, and that is Legends ZA. Now, as you know, we're very much in this hype season right now. We are heading towards Legends ZA. We are heading also towards, in just 3 weeks time, the Pokemon Presents that is very much going to be focusing, we imagine, on Legends ZA and potentially some other stuff, Pokemon Champions Unite, and they tend to do a lot of different announcements, but ZA I think will be the focus of that Presents. And so my conclusion here, and again, look at these city backgrounds, is that this is a game that's going to take us out of Kalos at some point. And when you think about Unova and all of the teases that we've got through the Blueberry Academy, through the return of some characters in recent generations like Colress, and particularly in Scarlet and Violet, the ways that you can design the League Room into different kind of Pokestar Studio themes and stuff like that. Now again, this could just be random. I mean, look at some of the cards in this first set. You've got Lily's Determination here, who's a character who's very much associated with Alola and Kanto a little bit as well. You've got Wally's Compassion there as well, who is very much a Hoenn character, a Hoenn rival. So there's all sorts of region implications going on, and I know the TCG does this, but to specifically set this cinematic in this particular city setting is kind of crazy. And I said I was going to talk about the traffic lights. We're going to look at this right now. So look at this little freeze frame right here. I'm going to try and get it. We have a traffic light which kind of hangs. Wait, let's try and get it back. It kind of hangs in this particular way, right? It's this particular style of architecture in the city, as well as the buildings as well. They don't look like Parisian buildings. So when I come over here to Google and I've typed in here New York traffic lights, this looks like a New York traffic light. I'm going to try and put them side by side here, but the way it hangs over, the way it's kind of like this yellowy color, very much looks like a New York traffic light. And as we know, New Jersey and New York are what Unova is based on. If I were to type in Paris traffic lights here, which I'm going to do, it doesn't look the same. They're very much black. They do have a similar shape, but they are different in execution, and they don't look like the setting of this trailer right here. And yes, this is the TCG, but I want to point out that there is historically always parallel with the games and with the TCG. We've kind of subverted from that a little bit with the last couple of sets. We've had the Destined Rivals set, and we've also had the Team Rocket set, right? So they are not necessarily linked to the games, but the majority of TCG sets are, and you can tell that Mega Evolution is being introduced in the TCG as the new series because Mega Evolution is returning in ZA and perhaps indefinitely in the future of the Pokemon games. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys decide what you think. Is this a big hint? Is this just a throwaway thing, a kind of generic background that they've created? I personally believe this is very much intentional and maybe hints towards Unova featuring in some capacity in Legends ZA. So leave your comments down below, and we're going to move on to this Khu tweet now. So he's back. The boy is back from the dead. He's woken up and he has dropped a brand new hint. Now, bearing in mind, guys, spoiler alert right here, because allegedly Centro Leaks, which is a page that I do not trust at all, it gets some things right, it gets a lot of things wrong. It's very flippant. It doesn't really quality check itself. A lot of the time it gets things wrong and it ends up having to apologize. But allegedly there's a leak that Centro Leaks have access to, and that has leaked a bunch of megas from Legends ZA. This appears to be a tease for one of those megas that's going to feature probably in, again, Legends ZA. That's the most likely scenario here. So let's make this a little bit bigger. We've got, firstly, a picture of Green saying yo in the Gen 1 games, right? So this seems to be Pokemon Green. We've also got Mewtwo and Giovanni with his Persian. This is Mewtwo when he's kind of under the control of Giovanni. He's got all of the test tubey cable things attached to him. He's got his armor on that Giovanni gives him to enhance his power and control him. And then to the right, you've got Angemon, which is a pretty cool Digimon design, one of the original Digimon from the first generation. And a lot of people in the comments here have been saying Mega Dragonite, because I think allegedly the Mega Dragonite design, from those who have seen Mega Dragonite, again, allegedly, is supposed to be this kind of angelic creature. There are very much other directions this could be. We've got the Gen 1 picture, we've got the name Green there, which could suggest that it's to do with Zygarde potentially. Zygarde could have some sort of winged final form, whether it's a Mega Evolution or a kind of some sort of enhancement from one of the characters in ZA. That could be a very interesting angle to perceive this riddle as well. So you've got Gen 1, you've got Green, you've got an Angel Digimon, so I guess that's kind of just either a design implication for whatever Pokemon this is hinting towards, or potentially a play on words to do with angels, angelic. The Giovanni bit is what throws me, because this particular scene from the first movie, is Giovanni kind of after his successful plan to recreate a powerful Pokemon, recreate Mew from the genes of Mew. So I get this kind of artificial vibe from this. I don't know exactly what. Maybe, for example, if it is Zygarde, it could be that Zygarde becomes this artificially enhanced Pokemon. Maybe Zygarde was artificial all along. We don't know that much about it. We know it splits into cells. We know it's to do with zygotes and inspired from that element of biology. But we don't know loads about Zygarde, how it came to be, whether it's a natural occurring Pokemon, whether it's an artificial Pokemon. There are a lot of themes going through X and Y about artificial versus nature. So I think that's the kind of vibe here. I don't know exactly what Khu is hinting at, but it's certainly very interesting. Let's have a look at some of the comments here. So Mega Dragonite is the top comment here on Twitter with 21 likes. We've also got some people saying Mega Charizard Z. I guess maybe it could be. I don't see that myself, but it very much could be. Someone said a starter that has died and been reborn as a cyborg or given armor. I mean, that could be amazing, but I guess it could be to do with the green starter, the grass starter, as in Chikorita. Maybe Chikorita has some sort of fairy angelic mega final form. Again though, it's the picture with Giovanni and Mewtwo and his Persian that's throwing me off. Is Persian anything to do with this? Also, are those I've just seen this. Are those things in the corners added in? What are they? Or it could just be, I mean, Angemon's got the wings emerging from his back. Mewtwo has all the cables emerging from his back with the armor. Angemon kind of has armor to some degree as well. So it could be just like an implication for the design. Yeah, I guess it could be like some sort of angelic Chikorita or Meganium, maybe. Ah, very good. So those things I just pointed out, somebody has said could be a yo-yo. Is that a yo-yo? It could be. So you've got yo, yo, yo. What does this mean? What does this mean? Yo, 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 yo. Is there some sort of triple yo on Andromon? Yo, yo, yo? I have no idea. Could be some sort of final form of Mewtwo. There are all sorts of things this could mean, guys. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts about what specifically this could be hinting. I always think Ku's riddles are quite good, and Ku's pretty on the money. Historically, he has been, with a lot of leaks and teasers and stuff like that. So very excited to see how this comes to fruition. I'm sure this will be paid off most likely in the Pokemon Present, so we shall see. I think we're going to see more of this kind of stuff emerging in the next couple of weeks and stuff as we count down towards that Pokemon Presents, and then hopefully we get a nice big deep dive into ZA in some respect when we actually hit that Presents day, and that'll be a lot of fun. We're going to be streaming it live on the channel, so hit the subscribe button, again hit the like button, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you, gang. See you next time.